America doesn't have a talent problem. It has a systems problem. We're not running out of smart people. In fact, we're actually running all the smart people into the ground with broken systems. I talk to founders every day. They've built something from nothing. They've survived the startup grind. They've hit $1 million, sometimes even $10 million, but they're exhausted. Not because they didn't know what they were doing, but because businesses depend on them to do everything. This is the untold story behind most successful companies. They're successful in spite of their systems and not because of them. And that's the real danger. You've got top-tier talent being buried under spreadsheets, executives spending their mornings fixing calendar invites, sales teams copying and pasting client notes into 5 different tools, and worst of all, founders working 70 to 80 hours a week, not to grow, but to just keep the machine running. It's not a leadership problem. It's not a marketing problem. It's what I call an operational debt crisis, a slow, invisible decay of structure and sanity inside the business. This is why I created Systemyze. Systemyze is not just another agency offering fractional support to temporarily plug holes in your business. We're not consultants. We don't show up with theory and leave you with a 100-page slide deck you'll never implement. And we're definitely not another automation junkie selling you the next shiny tool you'll forget to log into. We're builders. We build clarity, we build structure, and operational infrastructure that runs the business without you. We don't band-aid the chaos. We replace it with scalable systems. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through what we do, the tangible systems and processes we install, why it works, and why most outsourced solutions don't, how we solve operational debt permanently and not temporarily, and where we're going. Because Systemyze isn't just a service, it's a shift in how modern companies scale. If you're a founder, CEO, or executive tired of carrying the entire weight of the business on your back, this isn't just another video. This is the new blueprint for operational freedom. There's a quiet crisis in the business world. No headlines, no bailouts, no one's talking about it. But if you run a company, you feel it every day. You don't need a report to tell you something's broken. You can feel it in the tension of your mornings, the weight of too many fires and not enough hands. The constant sense of something is failing through the cracks, even if you can't quite name what. So let me show you what that looks like in real life. So hang in there with me. Picture this. Endless meetings that go nowhere. You hop on from Zoom to Zoom, calendar block to calendar block. Each one feels important, urgent even. But by the end of the day, nothing has moved. You're still stuck in what I call decision traffic. Everyone waiting on the green light from you. You're the bottleneck for projects that should be running without you. And the scary part is that most of the conversations could have been solved with one clear process or one documented SOP. You've hired smart, talented people, but they're stuck constantly asking, how do you want this done? Where do I find that file? Can you approve this real quick? It's not their fault. They just don't have the blueprint. They don't know what success looks like without you spelling it out. So everything routes back to you. Every decision, every deliverable, every dollar. You didn't build a business. In fact, you built a spider web where you sit at the center. That's not scale. That's called survival. Systems duct taped together by that one guy who left 2 years ago but knew everything but no one else did. You know exactly who I'm talking about, right? The former ops guy, the tech-savvy contractor, the developer you hired on Fiverr who vanished after 30 days. They left behind a maze of automations, a maze of folders and platforms with zero documentation and zero ownership. And now your team is terrified to touch anything in fear of breaking it. It's a system built on hopes and not hacks, not structure and standards. And one broken zap, one deleted file, one offboarding, that could bring the whole machine crashing down. And automation tools that promise efficiency, but each one promising to streamline your business. But all they've done is add noise. No integrations, no consistency, no clarity. Your team is jumping between tools like they're playing digital hopscotch, and nothing is centralized. You didn't buy tools, you bought chaos disguised as productivity. This is operational debt. It's not flashy, it's not obvious on a P&L, but it's there. In every inefficiency, every missed deadline, every frustrated team member quitting because things were just too messy. And unless you confront it, it compounds silently, relentlessly. I've seen it a bunch of times until the business burns out before you do. That's why Systemyze exists. It exists to break that cycle, to remove the chaos, to give you back control and build a business that scales without burning you alive in the process. Systemyze is a systems implementation company for scale-ready businesses. So simply put, what we do is we liberate companies from chaos. We help founders transition from being the fireman to being the architect. And here's the plot twist. We don't believe in becoming your crutch. We don't build systems we own. We build systems you own. Because we're not here to make you dependent. We're here to make you dangerous without us. Most third-party vendors, they lock you into retainers, build in complexity, and hope you never figure it out. We do the opposite. We bring clarity, ownership, and speed so you can scale efficiently and exit on your terms. I like to think of Systemyze as the anti-agency agency. Right now, US businesses are being forced into an impossible race. On one side, they're up against cheap overseas labor, virtual assistants, offshore teams, entire dev shops that charge $3 an hour and promise to do everything. On the other, they're expected to keep up with Silicon Valley level tech stacks, AI tools, automations, and no-code platforms that evolve faster than they can be learned. It's a high-speed, low-margin battlefield, and most businesses are stuck in the middle without leverage. Here's what happens next. To stay competitive, they start hiring more people, then more tools, then more managers to manage the people and the tools. Suddenly, they've got 25 people doing the work of 5. If the right systems had been in place, and this is where the shift happens, speed plus systems equals leverage. Leverage is what separates founders who scale with clarity from founders who drown in complexity. And leverage doesn't come from more hands, it comes from better frameworks. If you're $1 million plus business in America today, you don't need to double your headcount to double your output. You don't need to fight the overseas pricing war. And you definitely don't need to chase another SaaS tool. What you need is systems that eliminate friction, SOPs that make your team self-reliant, automation that enhances people, not replaces them. When those three are working together, your business becomes a machine. Not the kind built on brute force, but the kind that runs with quiet precision. At Systemyze, this is what we specialize in. We take what most people try to do in 12 to 15 months, and we compress it into just 6 to 9 months of focused, high leverage implementation. We call this operational rebirth, because that's what it feels like. You come to us with chaos, duct-taped workflows, staff confusion, tool overwhelm, no documentation, no dashboard, no one knows who does what. And you leave with a fully mapped out operational system, clear SOPs stored in one accessible knowledge base, clean automation that removes low value tasks, role clarity and team accountability, tools integrated properly with each other, and a team that finally knows how to win without leaning on you. This isn't theoretical either. This is transformation, and it's fast. When we say operational rebirth, we mean it literally. It's like taking a bloated, clunky machine, stripping it down to its essence, rebuilding it piece by piece with intentional design, and powering it with momentum. Most companies never experience this. They limp along, patching holes as they go, but the companies who do, they scale faster, operate lighter, and exit stronger. That's what we're offering. That's what we build, and that's what Systemyze delivers. Here's what we actually do when we work with you. All right. First thing is systems audit and strategy. We start by pulling back the curtain on your entire operation. This isn't a basic run-of-the-mill audit. This is a full operational deep dive. We analyze every core workflow in your business, whether it be sales, onboarding, delivery, retention, marketing, internal ops, you name it, everything. How information flows or doesn't between people and departments, the tools that you're using, how they're either helping or hurting, where decisions bottleneck, usually around you, the founder, what roles are doing overlapping or redundant work, where accountability starts to break down. We'll sit with your team and ask uncomfortable questions and pinpoint exactly where time, money, and energy are being lost. Then we translate that chaos into diagnostic clarity, a top-down operational strategy tailored to your unique business model. The result is a prioritized roadmap of what's broken, what's missing, and what needs to change fast. Number 2 is automation roadmap. Once we know what's broken, we show you how to fix it with precision. We don't believe in automating for automation's sake. We believe in intelligent leverage. In this phase, we break down your workflows into 3 buckets. The first one being automate. What repetitive, low-value tasks are wasting time and should be handled by tools, like email sequences, CRM updates, client reminders, internal alerts. Next, we delegate. What tasks should be owned by a team member with the right SOP, not the founder or top-level leadership? And third is eliminate. What's unnecessary, outdated, or a holdover from how we've always done it? Then we build a visual automation roadmap showing which tools should talk to each other and how, what data needs to be synced or centralized, where handoffs between human and automation should occur, and what should be tracked, measured, or flagged. This is your operational blueprint. It's not theory, like I said, it's the architecture of a business that runs smarter and not harder. Number 3, SOP creation and documentation. This is where we separate from 99% of consultants. We don't just build a strategy and leave you hanging. No, we turn that strategy into assets your business can actually use. That means step-by-step SOPs written in clear language anyone on your team can follow. Screen recorded walkthroughs so team members can see how things are done, both internal training and external for clients. Internal training libraries, custom built in Notion or your preferred platform. Role-specific guides that create accountability, not confusion. Naming conventions, folder structures, and tagging systems, and remove the guesswork and chaos of digital clutter. This is the digital infrastructure your business has always needed. We document everything, we standardize it, and make it accessible for everyone. The goal? If a key team member leaves, their knowledge doesn't leave with them. And number 4, implementation and training. Most strategy firms drop the ball here. We don't just tell you what to do, we actually build and launch your systems for you. We install the tools, we create the automations, we set up the dashboards and workflows, clean up your existing project management chaos, integrate the right tech in the right order, and build out templates, forms, and client-facing assets. Then we train your team to operate inside the new ecosystem. We host live sessions, record every walkthrough, and make sure every key player on your team is confident and not confused. We don't gatekeep. We empower your team to run without us because that's what freedom looks like. And number 5, performance monitoring and optimization. We don't disappear once it's live. For the next 30 days, we remain embedded in your backend to make sure everything's performing the way it should, not just in theory. Here's what this looks like. Daily and weekly system checks to ensure automations are running smoothly, rapid troubleshooting if something needs to break or needs a tweak, user behavior analysis where your team is struggling or creating new inefficiencies, follow-up SOP tweaks or video updates if there's confusion, optimization suggestions based on actual usage data. We're your co-pilot during launch. You don't just get a system, you get system adoption, which is where most businesses fail. We believe the future belongs to the companies who run lean, fast, and light, where founders aren't bottlenecks, teams aren't guessing, and operations run like clockwork. But most businesses aren't there yet because they've been sold the lie that the more tools equals more productivity. We're here to prove that less noise plus smarter systems equals scalable freedom. The mission is pretty simple: to give American companies back their leverage so that you can grow without giving up your life. And if we do this right, we're not just building a business, we're building a new operational standard. One where founders exit on their terms, where companies can compete with overseas vendors because of their systems, and where every business has a blueprint for operational freedom. If you're still watching this, I want to leave you with something deeper than just strategy. This company, Systemyze, wasn't built because I wanted to do systems work. It was built because I saw too many amazing founders drowning in businesses they were never meant to be trapped inside. I've seen CEOs on the verge of burnout, Teams with all the talent but none of the clarity, and businesses full of potential, buried beneath bottlenecks, busy work, and chaos. I started Systemyze because I believe that businesses should serve people, not consume them, and that the only way to grow something worth keeping is to build something that works without you. To me, systems aren't about efficiency, they're about freedom. Freedom to step away, freedom to scale up, freedom to sell or stay on your terms. This isn't just a service, it's a rebellion against the hustle worship that's killing modern entrepreneurs. And if this resonated with you, then maybe you don't need to chase the next hire or the next hack. Maybe what you really need is a second chance at how this business was supposed to feel.